Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, the Power is Within podcast. Glad you could join us tonight. And the cameraman said we had a little false start, so if you see a 2-second video, that was the false start. Tonight's topic is going to be how to go from simp to pimp. And our guests tonight are the beautiful
Pauline Daniels.
And how old are you, Miss Paulina?
15.
I knew that. And now to the other side.
Claude Daniels, I'm 20.
And my co-host.
Henry Daniels, 18.
Okay, so what a topic. What is a simp? Give me your opinion of a simp, Paulina, so we can clarify to our listeners what we're talking about, simp and pimp. Give me a...
Somebody who's like way too nice, or like say like I'm upset about something, says I'm sorry like 20 different times, or somebody...
A nice guy.
A nice guy.
A nice guy.
Or somebody, I don't know, somebody who blows up my phone with emojis all the time and is like always depends on me for stuff, I guess you could say.
Okay, well tell me this, now that you brought up emojis, because I quit using emojis because I think about this. Would Napoleon or Alexander the Great or General Patton use emojis? Would he send little heart emojis to someone? I don't think he would. So those were some real men back in the day. Or Winston Churchill, would he send emojis to Adolf Hitler, maybe like the devil emoji or the heartbreak emoji because Hitler's bombing Britain? I don't think he would have. So I quit using those for that reason. But you're talking about the nice guy, the simp. What do you think about when guys send you all these heart emojis and these different... I'm not saying you can never use them. I don't want to use them anymore, but what is that? What emojis make you feel like the guy's a simp? I know there's probably some that are okay and some aren't okay for our listeners who want to use emojis, although I don't recommend it.
Probably there's this one emoji where it's like kind of like puppy dog eyes, where it's like, you know, like pouty face, but it doesn't show like this part of the face. It does, like there's a little frowny face, and then the eyes are like sparkly, and it like makes it look like you're sad, whatever. And I think ones that are okay are like, say you're joking around or something, there's this emoji where it's the straight face emoji, and it's just like that. So like if you're joking around with somebody, you can send that emoji. Like that's what me and the guy I'm talking to now do, like if I'm joking with him, but he never sends me like heart emojis or anything like that.
No little smiley faces with the hearts fluttering around their
No.
head, nothing like that? Because someone told me once you kind of mirror her emotions, or I read that somewhere, but then the problem with messaging is there's so much lost in the tone of voice and body inflection that people use emojis to show emotion, and that's where I think I differ or think about that, because I've showed too much emotion in the past to women, and they really don't respond well to that. So when you start using a lot of emojis, you're actually showing a lot of emotion. And I see a lot of the younger guys from 30 on down just using these emotions with each other and saying I love you, talking to a man, and the way and I understand what they mean, but it's like they're really expressing a lot of emotion. And not that I think emotions are bad. I really believe that our emotions are a guidance system for us. But between men, I believe it's okay to show your emotion to your mentor, but you don't need to wear your heart on your sleeve out to the general public or people on Messenger or Facebook, Instagram, whatever that happens to be. But I see a lot of that nowadays. Claude, what do you think about a simp? What is your idea of a simp?
A simp is probably somebody who texts like a whole bunch of girls and texts them back to back really fast. That's why they never get a response. And I think a simp is a person who, if they have a lot of buddies, they end up ditching their plans, hoping to hang out with a girl, and then those plans go to waste. And then, also, a simp is probably somebody who puts women up on a pedestal, puts them below, puts
themselves below
women. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for me, a simp.
This is Frank, our cameraman.
Yeah, to me, a simp is like kind of like a dude that like buys his girl too much stuff, and like they're not even dating yet, like buying her stuff and stuff like that, or
hoping that she's going to like them.
Yeah,
because they buy her stuff.
Or someone who what's it called? Lets her do whatever she wants without like saying anything about it, like hanging out with other guys.
Yeah, he doesn't call her out on anything
Yeah.
because he's afraid she'll get angry with him.
Yeah.
When in the reality of it is, she wants him to call her out just so she can see what kind of a man he is. What do you think, Henry? What's your idea of a simp?
My idea of a simp is a guy who's constantly trying to gain a woman's approval just because he likes her for whatever reason. I had another one. He's constantly agreeing with her, even if she's being disrespectful to him. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I do have a few questions.
All right, go ahead.
So first question is, what would be some advice that you would give to a guy who's afraid to walk up to a girl?
Well, if he gets the intuitive nudge to go do it, he needs to do it before he thinks about it. There's the problem. Somebody sees a man sees a girl he wants to talk to, and his first inclination is to walk up to her and say hi or say something. But then he thinks, well, she's pretty good looking. I don't know if I should do that or not, or she may have a boyfriend, or he finds all the logical reasons why things won't work out instead of just following his first gut instinct, which is to talk to her. Having a little problems here with the mic. It won't stay solid.
Here, give me. Yeah, you have to twist it that way.
We could just change. Want to change the mic?
It just needs to be twisted.
Bear
back
with
in
us here.
place.
Yeah, I think another thing is like about a simp is I think they give all their attention and make the woman their first priority. That's an
Exactly.
example of a simp.
Yeah. Okay. Your question was an advice for what was that again? Okay. So, like I said, we talk ourselves out of it many times, and what happens is you walk away with regrets, never knowing what might have happened had you approached her.
Mm-hmm.
Women want you to approach them. I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? She's going to ignore you or tell you to get the F away from her? I mean, that rarely happens. But even if it does, at least you had the balls to walk up to her and talk to her.
Yeah, actually, I think it was last weekend. I walked up to these two girls that were like workers, and I asked them both if, we were talking for a little bit, and then I asked them both if like how old they were. And I was like, "Are you guys single by any chance?" And then one of them said that she wasn't, and the other girl said that she was. So the girl that said that she wasn't, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not." No, the girl that said that she was single, she goes, "Yeah, but just no." And I was like, okay, she doesn't think that I'm that attractive, but I personally think I am. So I just ended up walking away, and I was like, all right with it.
Well, every girl's got almost not. If a girl's halfway good looking, or even if she's not, she's always got some kind of a boyfriend, some man waiting in the wings, some guy that thinks he's her friend, just hoping that someday she'll see how wonderful he really is, and she'll quit going out with all the chads and just hook up with him. So she's always got somebody sitting there, a boyfriend or some guy that's ready to take her out or take her to eat or do something for her. That's just the way it is. So how do we go from being a simp, as we call it? We used to call it a wimp, or what did we call it back in the day? Being henpecked, mama's boy, something like that we called it. So how do we go from being, well, let's discuss what is a pimp. Now, of course, we know what a pimp is.
I'm a pimp.
A pimp that has prostitutes, that's a different thing. That's not really what we mean by pimp here. By pimp, what my idea what a pimp is a man. We used to call him the man. He's the guy that knows how to handle girls, what women want, how to speak to them. He can pick up girls just about anywhere. He's suave. He's a Casanova type guy. Now, what is your idea or your perception of what a pimp is, Paulina, in today's dating society?
Like a player or something. I don't really
But a
know.
player, what do you mean? Is he just some guy that
He
wants
talks to multiple girls.
build up the
and-
numbers, or is
Yeah, he talks to multiple girls. He sleeps with multiple girls. He doesn't really have. He's not dating anybody. He just is messing with whoever he finds attractive, I guess.
and a lot of the girls want to be with this guy rather
Yeah.
than the steady guy who would make a good steady boyfriend. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Why
Whose
is
breath
that?
can I hear? Frank, get your breath off the mic.
Why is that, Paulina?
I think it might be because of the way he acts, or because he's attractive.
Because he don't
That-
care.
He's independent.
what
it
He
is.
can't be tamed. He's like a wild stallion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then again, like sometimes pimps have that one girl that's like
The main hoe.
the main.
So, one of my friends, I told him to join the live. He's an older guy, you know, he has a kid and everything.
Right.
He said you gotta have that self-confidence and just be truthful more than trying to be with someone else.
Yeah, that's true. You got to have the confidence. You got to believe in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, women are very intuitive. They'll pick that stuff up. I don't care if you go up there with the best lines that you've learned from some coach. If you don't have it on the inside, she's going to pick that up pretty quick, that you're false advertising. You're not really what you're coming on as. Yeah, confidence is a very, and can't you pick that up with a person?
Yeah.
Even if they're afraid. I mean, most guys are afraid to approach, okay, but if they have the confidence to do it, that's a step in the right direction. The girl can pick up on that, because a woman knows if a guy's interested because she can see him looking at her. So if he doesn't, and this reminds me of something you guys have talked about. So here's the deal. I've heard of this happening quite a bit now. Is a guy will see a girl, he'll be looking at her and he wants to talk to her, but he doesn't have the guts to do it. So he goes, and she sees him looking, so she knows he's interested. So he goes and gets her Snapchat or Messenger or something, and he messages her instead of approaching her. Now, I would think that would give an impression to that girl that this guy doesn't have a lot of courage or inner strength. Is that correct, Paulina? How
Yeah.
would you view that?
I think so. I've had a couple people like see me at certain places, like I'll go out to eat or something, and they'll see me and they'll be like, they'll text me on Snapchat and they'll be like, "Oh, I saw you," and like I knew they were looking at me, and I was just waiting for them to walk up, and they just never did, and then they ended up texting me, and I'm just like, okay, then why didn't you come say hi?
Yeah, because they didn't have the guts to do
Yeah.
it. So right there, that shows a lack of inner strength, a lack of confidence. And women are more attracted to confidence, as where men are more attracted to beauty and appearance.
Another thing I was going to say, too, and you guys were talking about why you were asking Paulina why or a girl's usually attracted to the pimp guy. It's because he doesn't really care. He has multiple options, so whatever he says and whatever he does, it doesn't matter if the girl likes it or not. And that I don't care attitude is usually what gets the guy, the females. At least that's what it's been in my case.
Also, the pimp usually has a purpose besides girls. Girls are a byproduct of his lifestyle. What's your perception or conception of a pimp, Claude?
Like Henry said, somebody who doesn't really care. Like, for example, like let's say like a pimp sleeps with multiple women, then you got other women like shaming him and all that sort of stuff, trying to cut him down. But it doesn't
Yet
matter.
most of those women would jump at the chance to be with
yeah,
him.
they would. Yeah. And the thing is, they just don't care. They're so focused on what they're doing that they don't care what other people have to say. Their opinions don't matter.
Right.
And another thing, too, I don't mean to cut you off, is there's constantly simps trying to get these women's approval all the time. And if you're that guy who doesn't care, you know, what you do, what you're going to say, whatever you want, you're ahead of most of the guys.
Right, you're unique, you're different.
That's the thing that people mess up on, is they're always constantly trying to get this girl's approval. They think, if I tell her she's pretty, if I tell her she's beautiful, if I text her every day and, you know, compliment her, she's going to notice one day how much, you know,
Right.
how much of a good guy I am.
The illusion of action. Man
So-
thinks that. Go ahead.
My friend, he said, at what point does the girl go up to him first?
Never.
I mean,
It's possible, but that usually the man is the one that's really, for centuries, has been the one that's supposed to approach the girl.
Yeah.
And now that doesn't. I've had girls leave notes on my car before and different things like that. I've had girls chase me down the road in their car. I had a girl chase me one night. I didn't even know she was chasing me until the next day. The police pulled her over before she got to me. So I have had girls chase me like that. And when you just don't care, that's the way it is when you're not out there looking for it. But if you wait for the girl to come after you, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but if you're out, we're talking about the example. If you're just out, let's say I went to Walmart tonight, I seen some fine, be very unusual, to see some fine-looking girl once a year maybe. Okay, I can't wait for her to approach me. I need to walk up to her, but you need to see if she's giving you, is it IOIs? Indicators of interest. IOA, I think that's what it's called. Okay, if she's looking at you, what a girl will do is she'll put herself in a position where you can say something to her, or she'll look at you. She'll give you signals, indicators of interest. Now, I don't approach a girl usually unless I get those. Okay, and if I get that, then I know she wants me to approach her. And if you don't approach her, that comes off as weakness. But as far as girls approaching a man, I mean, that happens, but most of the time you can't wait for that to happen. Unless you're well known, it does happen. Like I said, it's happened to me many times in my life. But usually the man is expected to approach, and it's a show of strength when he does.
So, here's another question, because this happened one time to someone. At first, the girl was like sending him good morning texts or whatever, and he sent them back, and then she just quit doing it at one point, and she wouldn't even text him in the morning or snap him, nothing. So he had to text her first. What would your advice be on how to fix, not technically like how to fix it to her, to where she like sends good morning text, but like to her to text you first before you text her in the mornings?
Okay, a routine is boring. A girl may tell you she wants that. Actually, I had one to tell me, well, you should send me a good night, because I wouldn't send it to her. If you do it once in a while, that's fine. But if you get in the habit of doing good morning and good night every day by text, they'll get bored with it. And the day will come, just like it did with your friend, they won't send you messages. And you'll be sending them messages and they won't respond back. Never listen to what a girl says she wants. Look at what she responds to favorably. It's very important.
Another thing is about those phones is a Simp will text a girl all the time, but they'll never set anything up, or they'll bail on those plans. But a Pimp makes plans and then ends up hanging out with them.
He's direct. You need to use those things for communication to set up a time to meet in person. As I've said before, there are some people that act like they have a relationship and they're really emotionally invested, but they've never even met the girl yet. And these girls, more than likely, if they're attractive, even if they're unattractive, they're talking to multiple guys. 99% of them will say, no, I'm not talking to anybody else. That's how I can tell honestly. I'll ask them and say, how many other people are you talking to? Oh, nobody, just you.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's not true. And I don't care if they are, because I just met them on, but I do that sometimes just as vetting them to see how honest they are. Because these girls I talk to are like 8 or 10s, and I know they're talking to the guys, which I don't care, but I'm just curious to see how honest they are.
Yeah, and another thing I was going to say is if you want, like, you got to have a lot of options. Because if you don't have options, then you're not going to, like, the chance of you getting with another girl is going to be way harder. Because if you're talking to a girl or talking to multiple women, they'll always tell you, are you only talking to me? And obviously you can't just be talking to them, because if you're just talking to them and they know you're just talking to them, they're going to lose attraction.
Right.
They got to know that they have competition.
Yeah,
But they'll even act angry if you say, well, yeah, I'm talking to other girls. Well, if you're going to talk to other girls, I'm not going to talk to you. When the reality is they're talking to other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to let that go. But how do we go from being a simp to a pimp? How do we make that transition?
Instead of putting women first, like, follow your goals, follow your mission as a man.
That's the thing, like you were saying earlier, like I was talking to you earlier and the guys the other day, when you start doing what you need to do, the women just start kind of flowing in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, let's say you start talking to one girl, or maybe you have one girl, then more women come in. It's just like constantly. That's kind of what has been my experience. I don't put all my focus into women. I just put my focus into working out and following my goals, and that's when the women come in my life.
Right. They're an addition to an already fulfilled life is what they are. Question? I thought you had a
No
question
question?
over there.
Yeah, and another thing I was gonna say is, like Henry said, they just start flowing in, and just like, for example, when you have a girlfriend, you're not focused on trying to get with other women at first. You just focus.
That's when I got hit on a lot, was when I was dating somebody.
Yeah.
I had more girls than I could even handle at the time.
I think that's the same way.
Social proof is what that's called.
I think it's the same way for me. Every single time I start dating somebody, I have these guys just floating around, waiting for me and that person to break up. But like the minute that me and that person break up, they just completely just back away. And I think it's because they want me to cheat on that person to know that they can, I guess you could say, get me. But then whenever like I'm single or whatever, they don't really care.
You got to think about it too. It's like, well, this is my opinion. Whenever a girl has a boyfriend, it seems like it's going to be more of a challenge to get with her.
True.
So that's how I go for sometimes a girl that's got a man or something like that.
I know when I was younger and I hung around with groups of men, young men, there would be a girl that nobody paid any attention to, but as soon as one of us would start talking about how good looking she was, all of a sudden everybody wanted something to do with her.
Yeah.
So it's like social proof. As soon as somebody approved of her or wanted her, then the other guys would want her too. It was a very common thing. So to go from being a simp to a pimp, first off, we have to find a purpose that's something besides chasing women. It seems to me that I see so much today of people believing, and I probably grew up with this, if you just find the right woman, your life's going to be perfect. And your life needs to be perfect, or you need to accept your life as perfect right now, but you need to have a purpose that you're being fulfilled from, because you'll never find fulfillment in another person, especially in a woman. That's just the way it is. And if you're looking for that, you're looking for something outside of yourself to fulfill yourself. You have to be happy with yourself now, and then if someone comes along, then you guys can be happy together. But if you're expecting someone else to bring happiness into your life, you're really setting yourself up for a big failure.
Another thing too, I was talking to the guys about, before they get with a girl, they have to have confidence and everything like that. And the way you build up confidence, self-esteem, and all that kinds of stuff is going to work, getting up in the morning, working out, doing stuff that you don't want to do, taking cold showers. That's one of the things I do. But constantly doing something you don't want to do every day, and then you build up confidence, and then you're building yourself up as a person in general.
You're building inner strength, and like I said, women are more attracted to that. Your looks will get your foot in the door, but if you don't have anything on the inside, that's all it's going to do. It's going to get your foot in the door. She meets you. She finds out who you are on the inside. She's going to lose interest because there has been times in my life where I wasn't really where I needed to be mentally and emotionally strong, and I'd meet a lot of girls, and I just wasn't in the game. And as soon as I'd talk to them, it'd be like it just didn't ever go anywhere because I didn't have the inner strength at the time. I was feeling low self-worth, maybe low self-esteem, and these things happen. But now let's say about working out. That's one thing a person can do to improve himself, to go from a simp to a pimp. Now, I've worked out all my life since I've been about 20 years old, and it's my belief that the working out, contrary to what a lot of people believe, if they work out and they get to get this good body, the women are going to chase them. The working out is more for I believe for myself than anything else. It's because it changes the way I feel about myself. Of course, the looks are fine too, and as I said, that'll get your foot in the door. But what it does is it builds up character. It shows you have discipline and inner strength, and it makes you feel better about yourself, which is projected out into the outer world, and people pick up on this. And as, like I said, women are very intuitive. They pick that up. So if they've seen a guy who's in great shape, first off, they realize that shows some kind of discipline. Second, if the guy feels good about himself because of what he's doing, the discipline it takes, then that is projected out too into the unseen world, let's say.
Okay, so the main question of all of it was how would a guy recover from simping and just switch to like pimping? Like how long and how would he do it? Like how long would it take and how would he do that?
Well, that would depend on the person's resolve.
Yeah.
He has to want to do it. First off, he has to quit being. Let's say he's talking to a girl on Messenger or whatever, Snapchat, whatever. He has to resist the temptation to answer right away. He has to make them wait, not for them, but for himself. He has to build some internal self-discipline, and he has to do that by not following his emotions. He has to learn to control his emotions. Whatever you can't control, you are controlled by. And if you're controlled by your emotions, then you're like the ship out on the ocean without a rudder. Every time the wind blows, you move this way and that way. So you have to get direction in your life. What is important to you besides women? You have to get that out of your mind. Focus on your purpose. Find out what that is. If you're a young man and you like to play football, maybe that's it. Or maybe you like to play pool, or you like to be a gamer, whatever it happens to be. But you need to find some purpose in life. Because women love a man that has a purpose. And his purpose is not chasing women. Women, the guys you see that have a lot of women, that's a byproduct of them following their purpose. They're just good with women because it's not that important to them. If you make something too important, whether it's chasing women, money, whatever it happens to be, it's going to flee from you. Just think about this. The significance of chasing anything means that it's running away from you.
So, my friend again, he commented, and you can't just go after a girl because of the looks. You need to really know them if you want to be with them. Looks isn't everything.
Well, yeah, if you're going for something long term, you definitely need to vet a girl, and it takes time to get to know someone. People can hide who they really are for the first 3 months in dating. And actually, what do they say? You don't really know someone until you live with them. You have to spend a lot of time with them, and you really don't get to know someone by messaging, because you can really hide yourself, or anybody can hide themselves on messaging using the emojis and different things like that. So going from simp to pimp again, what are your ideas? What are some more things that you can do?
Pretty much laid out most of what I do.
Take action. Do things a pimp would do, even if you mess up. Keep trying.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is it's like when you're doing stuff, like talking to females or following your goals, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna fail, but you need to continue to do what you want to do.
Yeah, not
even
only
if you
that,
mess
but,
up.
if you fail and you feel like giving up, remember why you started doing it in the first place.
Yeah, you have to face the fear. That's one of the things you really need to do is face fear. You don't have to do it. Here's what people do a lot of times. They talk about the social anxiety. They wait until they see the girl that they just think they're going to be in love with forever, and then they want to talk to her. But they haven't been out taking advantage of, and that's the one thing I would say what a simp needs to do is start talking to everybody. Be social with everybody. Old women, old men, young men, friends, everybody at the gas station, the supermarket. And then when you meet that girl that you think so beautiful, it's going to be that much easier to talk to her. I can talk to anybody in the world, any status, about anything because I have experience, because I talk to everybody. Be a social person. What does everybody want to talk about? Their favorite subject is themselves. Just talk to people about what they're interested in. Another thing guys are scared of. Okay, I'm going to approach her. I'll say hi. What am I going to talk about? If she's interested in you, she's going to give you clues. And if she isn't interested, she's going to answer you yes, no, one-word answers.
Yeah.
Okay, if she's not, hey, see you later. Nice to meet you. Go on to the next one. If she's not interested in you, then don't worry about it. She will leave the door open for you if she's interested in you. She'll say something like, oh, I used to live in Florida. Oh, did you like the beach? Did you go to the beach a lot? There you go. Just listen to what she says. Take a genuine interest in what she says. If you're in high school, oh, yeah, I'm a pom-pom. Oh, really? Do you like that? Have you ever been up on, do you stack them up like that? Have you ever fallen? Just anything. She'll give you leads. So all you have to do is listen to her. Really listen to her. Quit thinking about if she's going to like you. Go up with the attitude, am I going to like her? I'm going to find out what she's like. I'm going to find out if she's someone I would want to take out instead of, I hope she likes me. That comes off bad, needy right away.
Yeah.
Girls hate needy guys, unless they're looking for someone to take advantage of, take them out to eat, Uber, or whatever they want to use them for.
For me, it's like be okay with getting rejected. Like it happens, but there's multiple girls out there.
Everybody gets rejected.
Yeah, I've gotten rejected before, but I just went to another girl.
Next.
That's
the word.
Yeah.
Next.
But you kind of got to be okay with getting rejected by girls. It's not a huge deal to be rejected because there's more girls out there that you could ask, and maybe that girl will like you, or she'll talk to you better than other females.
Yeah, the fear is what stops most people from becoming a pimp. They're just afraid. I've seen guys that aren't really very good looking, but they got good looking women. You know why? Because they're not afraid to approach. They believe they are somebody. And if you don't believe you are somebody, my recommendation is this. Start telling yourself every time you look in the mirror how good looking you are, how you're a 10. Every girl wants you. It may not be true, but if you tell yourself that long enough, you'll come to believe it.
Yeah.
Big fact.
Do you have something to say, Paulina, there? You're getting crazy over there.
Mm,
What other recommendations would you have for some of our viewers about how to become a pimp?
Stop showing that you care as much as
yeah, like I said, the I don't care attitude. Now, there's the difference between the I don't care attitude and then just being a straight up dick,
Right.
Like, you can not care. Like, let's say a girl comes up to you and it's like, or you're having a conversation with a girl and she's like, well, I don't really think you're that attractive. Okay, whatever, you don't care.
Yeah.
And then the other, being a dick's like, if she says, I don't really think you're attractive, and you start cussing her out or be like, you're ugly anyway or something like that,
Yeah,
That's,
and then, also, oh, dang it, lost it. Oh, when I got rejected, my first ever time, I was like, oh, it's not for me, it's for a friend. I quickly moved to the second option to say it's for somebody else,
Don't, what is it? Don't wait to start. Just do it now. Don't say, I'm going to do it this day or I'm gonna do it the next day. Start now because that's
Start
right.
doing something
Take
today.
the first
Yeah,
step.
now would be the time where people say, New Year's resolution. I'm gonna start approaching girls as soon as the New Year's get here. Well, the New Year never comes. You just don't do it. Today's the day. Now's the time. There's only the present moment. That's all we have. Do you have something you was gonna say? You look like you're.
She looks like she's about to burst.
She looks like she's ready to burst. Tell us something. Enlighten us here. How could a man go from being a simp to a pimp? What would you recommend?
He can
let's
hang
say you
out
have
with me.
let's say you have a good friend. No, I don't think. But anyway, we'll see. What would you tell him?
Hang out with Henry.
Yep.
Well, okay, get a mentor. That's one thing you can
Yeah.
do. That's what I did when I was about 14 or 15. I had a friend. He was older. He had a Corvette. He really wasn't that good looking, but this guy taught me how to be with girls. He taught me how to be a pimp. Now, I had to take the action. I had to face the fear, of course. Of course, I drank a little bit back then. That made it a little easier. A couple beers takes that anxiety edge off. I don't do that anymore, but you need to learn how to do it without that. But if that seems to help, but he taught me how to do it. So having a mentor, someone to show you the way. Find someone who is really good with women, watch what they do, follow their example, and then go out and try it. But it still comes down to you have to face the fear of rejection. Rejection is not personal. It has nothing to do with you, regardless if she says you're ugly. I would never go out with you. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Another good place to start is watching these videos, watching your live. That's a really good way to start.
And other YouTube creators too. There's a lot of guys on there that have a lot of good stuff. I still watch things, and I mean, I don't know it all. The more I learn, the more there is to know, and we need to be refreshed too. It's easy to fall into that trap of one-itis or believing this is the one girl or whatever. And girls don't like that. They don't like it when you put them up on a pedestal, when you make them the most important thing in your life, or treat them like a queen. Treat her like a queen, she'll treat you like a servant. Treat her like a star, she'll treat you like a fan. There's a lot of truth in those sayings.
In your opinion, when should you approach the girl?
Whenever you get signals, yeah.
If you see somebody and you think I should go talk to her, I'd say go up, even if you don't have a signal. I like to have signals, but what's the worst thing can happen? You say, hey, what's up? Or it depends on where you see her, what the situation is. What are you doing here? I mean, whatever happens.
It's not like the girl's gonna just smack you if you go up and ask
Right.
her number.
Right.
Unless you touch her.
What's the worst thing she do? Say no?
Yeah, I mean, the most she's gonna tell you is probably like, I got a boyfriend, or
Well,
I'm
that's,
just gonna
you're
tell
always
you.
going to hear, I got a boyfriend. You know what I would say to that? Hey, anybody like you has a boyfriend, but bring him along. I don't mind.
He could cook us breakfast.
He
in
can
the
cook us
morning.
breakfast. Yeah. I won't hurt you. I'll give you back to him when we're finished.
Yeah.
Just make a joke about it. Don't let it. Some guys will say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Why are you sorry? Girls want to be approached. You should never apologize for approaching a girl if she's got a boyfriend or if she's married. If you didn't know, it's a compliment to the girl to approach her, and you had enough guts, a compliment to yourself that you had the guts to do it. So never apologize for approaching someone. You didn't know if they were married or had a boyfriend or whatever. And like I said, a lot of them are going to throw that boyfriend up in front of you. Say maybe they're not happy with their boyfriend. Maybe they're discontent, especially if she's giving you indicators of interest and she has a boyfriend. She might be looking for another one because most girls have somebody lined up before they ever dump the one they're with. But you have to keep in mind now, depending on what she does and how she gets out of that relationship, if she goes out with you, you may be the next one she's doing that to. So you need to be very observant of how she treats her boyfriend or what she does behind her boyfriend's back, because you may be the next one she's doing that to.
Yeah, I don't got much to say on that anymore. I got to think a minute.
Well, let me ask you guys this. What makes a simp repulsive to girls?
His neediness.
Yeah, when they're like way too nice. That girls don't like that. They like it when you can be nice every once in a while, but if you're just too nice constantly,
Compliant.
Needing
24/7,
needing
complimenting them
validation.
like every second,
Clingy.
or when a
Clingy.
guy answers really, really, really fast, they do not like that.
And what do you consider clingy, Pauline? And what do you mean by that word, clingy?
I'm trying to think of like the right thing to say.
Real quick. At what point do you stop trying for a girl that doesn't show interest even though you really want her?
As soon as you realize she's not interested. The best chance you'll ever have of being with her is if you just quit. If she knows you're interested, and they know usually before you ever approach them if they see you, okay? Because if you make any attempt to be with them, they know you're interested. You don't have to tell them, okay? And if she doesn't return or doesn't reciprocate, just walk away. And if you ever have a chance with her, she'll let you know that she's interested. But if not, all the effort in the world is not going to build her attraction. Attraction is not a choice. You're either attracted to someone or you're not. You can't make her attracted to you. But if you walk away and let go and she knows that you were interested into her, the distance or the act that you were just willing to walk away when she knew you liked her, and then all of a sudden you just turn it off and you don't even look at her anymore, may strike her interest for you. But if you don't do that, you're never going to convince her through logic or any kind of effort to be interested in you. And that's part of the thing and part of the problem we see with movies is they show these guys trying, and she's getting ready to leave on the airplane. He runs out on there and oh, I love you, honey. Don't and oh, okay. And she falls into his arms and live happily ever after. It only works in the movies. Movies are not reality, and people base their dating or their actions of dating on these movies. And these things do not portray reality. If she's interested in you, she will let you know somehow. Maybe not by asking you out, but she will let you know. And if she's not, no matter what you do, the illusion of action, you're never going to make her interested in you. The only way you, like I said, you could possibly do that is just to back off. What I used to do a lot of when I was at dances and different things, I would say the best looking girl there, I would not pay her any attention at all. And then she would start giving me indicators of interest. So she would put herself in a position to where I could say something to her, but I would never chase her or approach her because that's what everybody else was doing. So be unique.
Hit on her hot best friend.
Yeah, there you go. Go up and talk to her best friend.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Give her the attention in the crowd. Usually what you want to do, or what I did, in a crowd of people, if there was a really good-looking girl there I ignored her. I paid less attention to her until she started giving me attention. And if she didn't, she wasn't interested in me, what's the point? You're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
Another thing that I don't think women like about simps is that they feel helpless. Like they feel like...
Yeah. I don't think a woman doesn't feel safe with a simp.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be able to protect her if the shit goes down? Probably not, because he can't even protect himself. That's something else I think these guys need to go out and climb a tree. They need to skin their knee. They need to get their fingernails dirty. They need to go out and dig in the mud or do something. They have these, what is this, Man of War I seen on Instagram, where these guys go to this like boot camp type thing so they can become men. They crawl on the ground. They go through these cold waters. They stay out at night and freeze half to death. And that's part of the problem with young men today in society. They've never gotten their hands dirty. They've never skinned their knee. Everything is so safe, they don't know how to be a man.
Yeah.
A man can take some rough stuff, but nobody's taking anything, so they never get tough on the inside. These things build mental discipline. Get punched in the face. Join a body. Seriously. Join a body. It's not going to kill you. I've been punched in the face tens of thousands of times. And, hey, I'm still here. Still good looking, too, so it didn't hurt me.
What was I going to say? Don't let yourself get disrespected, like especially by women. Like a good example is like how you were talking about people go to boot camp and all that sort of stuff. The only person you should let talk to you like that is like your what is it, general or admiral, like whoever talks.
Your
to
mentor or somebody above you, which could be in a position of authority above you, maybe your boss. But depending on how they talk to you, you have to be careful of that too. If people are disrespecting you, you have first disrespected yourself. We teach people how to treat us. I noticed in my last couple of relationships, I was being disrespected, but it was because I was devaluing myself. I was not placing enough value on myself, and thus it's reflected back to you in the outer world. If you find people treating you badly, you're allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
If they're disrespecting you, you're not respecting yourself enough to demand respect. And you don't demand it by your voice, you demand it by your actions. If a girl disrespects you, you withdraw your attention. The coin of gold for women is attention. So if she's not treating you correctly, withdraw your attention. And if she doesn't straighten up, you withdraw completely and go on to someone else. Why do you want to stay with someone who disrespects you, who doesn't value you? That in itself shows that you don't value yourself. You would stay in a relationship like that. Now I realize if you get emotionally involved with someone, sometimes it's hard to break away from that. I've been in that position. But if it just continues to get worse, they will disrespect you. Eventually you'll be picking her and her boyfriend up, and you'll be taking them out to dinner. I mean, it will get that bad. I've seen it get that bad. Guys stand there because they just can't let go. They have so low of a respect, low self-esteem, that they allow some crap to happen for whatever reasons. I mean, I was in a position once where I had a lot of kids, and I stayed for the kids. Eventually, a man has to be able to walk away from everything, even his kids. Because if that woman knows that she's got him like this, a lot of times they will just walk all over him. They want you to stand up and be a man, and sometimes that means leaving your whole family. Back in the old days when the men went off to war, they went off on ships, they left their whole family, and the woman waited for them. So you still have to be willing to do that in today's society. You have to be willing to walk away from everything. If you're not, she will not see you as a man of strength.
Yeah.
Find friends who you think are pimps, or friends who are with a lot of women, hang out with them a lot.
You become part of what you're around. If you're hanging around with a bunch of simps, you're just going to be the next simp or be a worse simp than you are. If you want to be a man, find men to hang around with. Today, that's kind of tough, but you can find men on YouTube that are men that teach this, that can mentor you. You don't even have to pay for their coaching. You can just listen to their free YouTube videos and learn a lot from that. Get books. There's a lot of books out there about how to be more of a man. The Way of a Superior Man by David Deida is one. I just read one the other day, 30 Dangerous, what was that one? By Ashley Davis, 30 Dangerous Things Men Should Do. I may be misquoting that, but that's a good book too. I mentioned it and promoted it on our last podcast. So readers are leaders. You want to be a leader? A woman wants a man who can lead her, not by force or domination, but by being a dominant male. She wants to follow a man who is strong. She will never follow a simp. She'll manipulate him, she'll use him, she'll disgrace him, she'll disrespect him. She'll devalue him, but she's not going to follow him. Why should she? He can't keep her safe. You're not going to change eons of evolution where women needed men by 60 years of women's liberation. It's just not going to happen.
Facts.
I can't think of anything. That's about all I got.
No more suggestions for our simps out there who want to be pimps?
Is Frank over there? Oh, yeah. I couldn't even see his big head.
My suggestion more than anything would be find a mentor. Find a mentor. Find somebody who is a pimp, who can work with the girls, who knows how to talk to girls. Find someone, whether you want to be a player, you want to be in a long term, you want to find a steady relationship, find someone. There are many guys on YouTube. There's a lot of players. There's guys on there. Ryan Stone, he's in a long-term relationship. He has good ideas on how to maintain a long-term relationship, how to vet for a long-term relationship. Frank, you got something to say?
Yeah, I agree with my friend what he said. He said people need to man up and get out of their feelings.
Exactly. Feelings are important, but there's a time and a place for everything. You don't need to be crying in front of your girlfriend because your boss was mean to you today. She won't be sticking around long. She may put up with that for a little while, but you got to man up. Like I said, I'm not telling anybody to deny their feelings. I feel my feelings a lot. I express my feelings. I have suppressed emotions from many years ago. Actually, I work through some of those today. But you don't go sharing out with your girl. That's for you and your mentor, or maybe just yourself and your God, whatever your conception of God happens to be. It's important to feel your feelings, but as in everything, there's a time and a place for everything. And sharing that and expressing your deep emotions is not something you do in front of your woman. Like I said, you may get away with it once, but she's looking for you to be her strength, her rock. She doesn't want a guy. There was a movie called Bedeviled. And this girl he wanted so bad. She was like this devil, it was the devil, and she gave him like 3 wishes or something. And this girl he really wanted, said she wanted a guy who could express himself, that could share his emotions, more sensitive guy. So he asked this bedevil, really good-looking lady. She was the devil or something. She granted him this wish, and all of a sudden they're out on the beach. He's out on the beach with this girl that he loved, and he's looking at the sunset, and it's beautiful, and he starts crying and talking about how beautiful it is. And I've looked at some sunsets and felt like that, not in front of a girl, but okay. And then she's like, he thinks she's going to like this, and here comes the big bullies along, and they kick sand in his face, and he's sitting there crying, and she gets up and goes off with them, with the Chad. And that's the way it is. A girl may tell you she wants you, please express your emotions with me. But when you do it, she doesn't. It's uncomfortable for her. She wants to feel safe, and she doesn't feel safe with a guy who's going to break down and cry at everything that comes along. Very important fact to remember. It's just the way it is. Anybody else got any suggestions here? No? Any more questions from our viewers? All right, well, we're going to wrap it up then. I hope this has been of help to you. We're going to have Sparty Fortune, the king of dating, next month, probably on the 14th. We'll have him here live. He's flying in from Boston to join us. I know Pauline is happy about that. She loves Sparty. I'm being sarcastic. But he's good. He's got some really good ideas. He's been out in L.A. working on some acting things and some movies, so we will look forward to seeing him. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to get my help personally, my website is marksinspiration.com, and if you'd like to be on the show, contact us, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next weekend. Have a great